When we go through tough times, it's natural to wonder if it's entirely new or if we've been through similar things and made it out the other side. Understanding history not only helps us to understand where we came from, it helps us understand where we are now and where we might be headed. It also places us within the rich context of our country and the world. It helps put us on the map. So for this history lesson of Kentuckiana, we wanted to find a story and a storyteller who could symbolize that broader journey. We found some great ones.
Hi, I'm Fowler with the Humanity Archive, a podcast and educational website where I tell the untold stories of history. Now, I love history because it connects us as human beings. I think through history we can see the stories of people from different places, from different cultures, and see how we are more similar than we are different. Here in Kentucky, we've seen ebbs and flows right through Kentucky history. We've seen people who have created division, but then we've also seen people who tried to mend those divisions. So I think that whenever I look at history and whenever I teach history, I ask people, which one of those legacies do you want to be a part of? I think it's interesting to note that Kentucky was the last state, that an enslaved person would have had to go through if they were running away from slavery before they got to freedom across the Ohio River. I remember reading one story about an enslaved person who actually swam across the Ohio River to escape slavery, and I think about that person risking being swept up by the undercurrent of the Ohio River, and that being something that they were willing to do rather than get swept up by the undercurrent of being re-enslaved. So. Henry Bibb was an enslaved man born in 1815 in Shelby County, Kentucky, and he's part of this large legacy of Kentuckians who fought in the cause of freedom. His mother, Mildred Jackson, was an enslaved woman, and his father was James Bibb, was actually a state senator, so he kind of played that dual role of father and master. That's a kind of troubling history there, but it was clear for Bibb that he was going to be part of his own freedom. He actually ran away, he was recaptured, he ran away, he was recaptured again, then he makes it to Canada, and then he becomes part of this larger legacy of the Underground Railroad. He escaped. He could have just stayed up in Canada and, forgot about everybody else. But no, he said, I want freedom for more people, so I'm not just gonna take my freedom in a selfish way. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna help others. Now, what a lot of people don't talk about with the Underground Railroad is that it was an interracial coalition of people coming together, black and white, to help black people become free in Kentucky. I think we want to stay in contact with that aspect of their fight. It's cyclical. You have summers and winters, so you have periods in history where things tend to decline, empires fall, and then nations rise again out of the ashes. So I look at history kind of like a phoenix. We have our failures, and then we try, and then we fail again, and then we try, and then we fail again. So I think ultimately I do like the statement, though, that history bends toward the arc of justice, because that is a hopeful way of looking at things. Even when you do have a lot of tragedy going on around us, to have that hope to say that history bends towards the arc of justice can help us to look forward with a hopeful view.
So reflecting on our history is important to not only understand where we've come from, but to also understand better what we're going through today. Sometimes that's difficult. Sometimes it's poignant. Sometimes it's fun.